Hello there and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chukz. Now, if you have ever encountered a question like this one over here and you felt so overwhelmed, I want to let you know that you're not alone. It looks complicated, it looks difficult, but I assure you that by the end of this series, you will not only understand what it is, but you'll also know how to solve it. We are not going to do anything like solving or finding x today, but what we're going to do is to look at this equation here to show you how it looks like in a graph, and then to tell you why this x squared is very, very important and why it also changes everything in the equation. So let's go. All right, so this right here is what we call the standard form of a quadratic equation. So it has some letters. It has A, it has B, and it also has C. Now, A, B, and C are just numbers. They represent numbers. But there is one big rule, and that is that A must not and never be equal to 0. You may be asking, why must A not be equal to 0? Well, that is quite simple. If A is 0, then it means that x squared is no longer in existence in that equation. And that x squared you see right there is the reason why we have the quadratic equation. It's like the big boss of the equation. So if it's not there, then we don't have any quadratic equation left. All that we have is just a simple, boring straight line. So every quadratic equation in a graph is being represented as a parabola. That's a kind of U shape that you see on your graph. And this shape that you see here is determined by the first number in the equation, that is whatever A stands for. Now, if A is positive, it forms a smiley parabola. That means the parabola bends upward. But if A is negative, it forms a sad face. That's the parabola goes downward. And then we also have the C there. The C is the intersection of the line in the y-axis. That is what C stands for. So the whole graph flips upside down whenever A is negative. So if you change C, you are either moving the graph upward or you're moving the graph downward. So whenever you're asked to solve the equation or to find the value of x in an equation, that equation is equated to 0. And the reason why the equation is equated to 0 is for us to find where this curve intersects with the x-axis when the height, which is the y value, is 0. And so that is actually what we're finding. And when we find these 2 points where the parabola cuts the x-axis, we call these 2 points the roots of the equation. There are instances where this parabola only cuts at 1 point in the x-axis. There are times that it cuts 2 points in the x-axis, and there are also points that it cuts nothing. That means there is no solution, and that means that the graph is like floating. So now that you know the anatomy of a quadratic formula or a quadratic equation, you now understand that gravity works with the quadratic equation. When you kick a ball, it goes up and then down at a parabolic path, or even when in a fountain of water, the water goes in a parabolic path. So in the second part of this series, we are going to be teaching you on how to solve or how to find x, or how to solve the solution of this quadratic equation using a puzzle method that we call factorization method. So if you have not yet subscribed, now is a good time for you to subscribe so that you don't miss the part 2, okay? And share this with your friends that will really, really need it. And I'll be seeing you in the next video.